Welcome back to the Burnell Washburn podcast. Hope you're having an amazing day. Sending you all my love, all my good vibes, wherever you are in the world. Real quick before we start this episode, if you're not driving, I ask that you just put your hand on your heart for a sec and just place some awareness in your heart. Take in a couple breaths. Don't even think about it too hard. Just breathe in normal and just feel the energy in your heart, and then just feel connected to all the people listening to this podcast. We got people listening in the UK. We got people listening in Australia. We got people listening in Germany. We got people listening in California. We got people listening in Utah. So this is the Soul Tribe. These are our brothers and sisters on the path, and I just want to take a second to just picture like a grid of light connecting all of us while we have our hands on our heart. If you're driving, it's okay. You can just picture this in your mind and realize that we're all connected. Really, we're all one, and we're all tuning into the same frequency. So it's beautiful to have like-minded people that we can relate with and connect with. So I just wanted to take a second to do that. If you're new, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Burnell Washburn. I'm a musician, a life coach, a nature lover, a father, and a podcaster, and a YouTuber, and I'm like all sorts of stuff. But really, I'm just a dude that likes to spread good vibes and empower and inspire and uplift others. And if I can even share the smallest little reminders or ideas using my unique perspective to help someone have a happier, more fulfilling life and brighten up their day a little bit, and maybe just help them love their life a little bit more. That's what I'm all about, because I love my life. Like, been through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges, and I still face challenges all the time, and I still have my down moments. But like in general, I love life. It's beautiful, and I just want to spread that. So thank you for joining us. We got light workers and indigos and badass entrepreneurs and musicians and artists and just cool people tuning in all over the world, and this thing continues to grow. So if you haven't yet, make sure to leave a review on iTunes. Shoot a little comment my way. Like my favorite is when people just shoot me a message, like a DM on Instagram or something, and they're like, "Yo, I was listening to your podcast where you said such and such, and I really liked blah blah blah." When you have like a specific little thing, I love that. It makes me feel like I'm living out my soul's purpose, really providing value, and that's what I'm all about. So thank you so much for doing that. Make sure to, even if you've already done that, it's awesome if you could do that on every episode, so I can screenshot that, and that helps promote the podcast and get new listeners, because it provides social proof, which is it's really key if you're selling anything or advertising anything. And here I'm trying to sell and advertise positive energy and expanded consciousness and high vibrations. So by doing that, you're helping spread a good thing. Also, shout out to the Gratitude Gang, all the Patreon supporters. It's so dope that some of you guys are throwing $5, $10, $20 a month to support this podcast and the YouTube channel and the music and just everything I do in general. So thank you. Shout out to the Gratitude Gang. I love you guys so much. Today's going to be a super quick episode. I just wanted to talk about 2 keys to fulfillment, success, and feeling good about yourself, which are delaying gratification and consistency. If you can master these, you'll just be next level in any area of your life. These are things that if you master, you can apply them across all areas of your life and see massively improved results. When you learn how to get better at delaying gratification, your whole life gets better. You have so much more freedom. Discipline equals freedom a lot of the time. Delaying gratification equals freedom. It equals confidence, because confidence really comes from, like I said in one of my other episodes, confidence comes from following through with what we tell ourselves we're going to do. So when we follow through with something, we feel good about ourselves. If I tell myself, okay, on Tuesday I'm going to eat super healthy all day. And then on Tuesday I eat super healthy all day. I wake up on Wednesday feeling like a boss, feeling like I have more confidence about myself, because not because I achieved some specific result or because I was born with confidence, but simply because I am trusting my own ability to follow through with my higher intentions. If I tell myself I'm going to do something, I do it, and then I feel good about myself because I build this trust with myself. Like, imagine if someone were to tell you that they're going to give you a ride, they're going to pick you up. They're going to pick you up from work at 8 o'clock. And then they're not there. You're waiting until it's 8:30, it's 9 o'clock, they're still not there. You're waiting out in the cold, and you're starting to get worried and cold and whatever, and they don't show up. And then, you get home and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I totally forgot, but next time I got you for sure. Next time you're going to have a slightly less confidence in them. So you're going to be like, all right, are you for sure coming? Like, okay. And then let's say they don't show up again. You're waiting for them for 2 hours this time, and it's raining on you, and they don't show up. You're going to get home, you're going to be kind of upset, and you're like, damn, I don't know if I trust this person now. And then like a week later, they're like, hey man, you want me to pick you up from work? And you're like, I don't know. Like, last 2 times, you weren't there for me. You started to lose confidence in them because they didn't show up. So you get what I'm saying. When we tell ourselves we're going to do something, okay, tomorrow I'm going to X, blah, 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 and then you don't do it, you start losing confidence in yourself, and then you don't think you can achieve as much, and so therefore you don't achieve as much, and you don't show up as your higher self. So confidence comes from following through with our, promises that we make to others and to ourselves, especially to ourselves. And then when it comes to delaying gratification, that can really help us build up more confidence, because it's like we're going to tell ourselves we're going to wait on something, and then we wait on it, and boom, now we're more confident, now we feel better about ourselves. So delaying gratification and consistency are just 2 major keys that I'm trying to work on always, and I think everyone should always be working on these. Because like I said, if you can become really good at delaying gratification, everything in your life can get better. And when you become ultra consistent at your good habits, that's how you really see results. Ooh, it's 444. 444 says, what's your intention for the rest of this gorgeous day? I'm going to record this podcast. I'm going to finish making this beat that I was making. I'm going to post that. I'm going to do this coaching call. And I'm going to Uber over to pick up my daughter, come back here. Actually, I'm going to clean the house a little bit before she comes over too. Make sure we're all situated. I'm going to Uber back home with her, and we're probably just going to have a dance party and color and paint and play, and she'll probably want to watch a movie. Like, she's been wanting to watch Harry Potter lately, so it's going to be a lit night. I don't even know why I'm telling you guys that on the podcast, but the alarm just went off, and I was like, fuck it, I should probably make sure I actually have a clear intention. Okay, and we're going to go to bed feeling amazing, just with a clean house, and everything that we wanted to get done got done, and we did it well, and we feel like we just showed up as the best versions of ourselves today, and we're going to fucking feel great tonight, have the best sleep of our life, and get recharged for a next level extraordinary day tomorrow. That's my intention. Anyway, I can't even remember what I was saying before that. Consistency. When you stay consistent, that's when you see results. You can do anything positive for, off and on or a short period of time, and you're not going to see anywhere near the results as you will if you just become consistent at it. So let's talk a little bit first about delaying gratification, and then we'll touch back more on consistency, and then I'll let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day, because I really do appreciate you investing your time in your own personal growth and coming on this journey with me. I know you can always get more money, but you can never get more time, so Any time that you invest listening to my podcast is something I deeply value and appreciate with all my heart. And I want to make sure I respect you and don't just ramble for hours if it's not necessary. The ability to delay gratification is a real mark of a successful person. You notice this quality in pretty much all successful people. They're able to give up like short-term, quick, instant pleasure in exchange for lasting fulfillment, in exchange for what they really want. They're able to hold off on, even though, yeah, some junk food sounds nice right now. Sure, like a bag of chips and some ice cream or whatever, and a bunch of candy. Like, it'll be enjoyable in the moment for anyone, really. Except for me, because I got so much pain associated with that shit. I got like all this pleasure associated with not eating that. But for most people, let's just say, in the moment, we can enjoy a bowl of ice cream. Like, that sounds delicious right now. But if we really want vibrant health and we want energy to go on this hike tomorrow or something, then we got to delay gratification. And we'll be happier and we'll be more fulfilled if we don't eat the ice cream. So we give up some short-term, like little quick pleasure in exchange for something that's more meaningful that we want later down the road. It's pretty simple, but it's a habit and a trait that it's like a muscle. We all need to work on getting this muscle stronger and stronger. So for me, I'm practicing the art of delaying gratification all day and like everything I do. This is something that's really helped me tap into my higher self. Whereas I used to like be a lot lazier. I used to want something and I would like indulge in the pleasure thing first, and then I'd have the hard work thing after, and I'd end up not enjoying that as much. So let's say, for example, I want to, we'll use dark chocolate because I fucking love dark chocolate. Let's say I got this delicious piece of dark chocolate that I want to eat, and it sounds good. I'm about to go eat it, but then I remember, oh shit, I was gonna vacuum my house. If I just, I'm gonna have that dark chocolate after I vacuum. I use that leverage. I use this kind of thing that I want as leverage to get myself to do something that I really might not want to do as much. So I kind of like, there's like a reward for doing the hard thing. It's like, of course, I could sit there and eat the chocolate right now, but then I got to vacuum after, and I've already had the chocolate, versus like I'm going to vacuum real quick, and then I get that chocolate, and it's kind of like, the brain's like a little kid sometimes, so you got to like play little silly games with rewarding it, and it's just so much more fulfilling when we do the hard thing first and then the enjoyable thing after. Like, anyone could wake up and crack open a beer and just relax, and like, I don't really drink or anything, rarely, but a beer could be nice every now and then. It's like, but like waking up and having one when you've just been lazy and not doing shit for 2 weeks, that's not going to be as enjoyable of a beer. In fact, that might, you have a few of those, you might spiral down into depression. Versus you've been crushing it for 2 weeks straight, just on your A game, doing everything you said you were going to do and more, showing up as the best version of yourself on all levels. And then after 2 weeks of that, on Saturday night, you go to the beach with some buddies, and you guys have a couple beers, and you crack open that beer after just a super long, hard day at work, and it's hot and sunny, and you have this beer, and it's just the best, most delicious sip of beer you've ever tasted. You're going to appreciate it more. You're going to enjoy it more because you chose to delay gratification. And you can just do this in all areas of your life. Like, if there's anything pleasurable, like every single day there's probably like 30 different things that are like more enjoyable, and then like 30 different things that are maybe less enjoyable. And if you just do the less enjoyable ones first, then you'll enjoy the more enjoyable ones even more. because you'll have this sense of feeling good about yourself. You'll have this sense of momentum, and then over time you build up that muscle where you just get really good at delaying gratification, and then you get all of a sudden you find yourself like, oh damn, I'm better at saving money now because I don't need to just like immediately go circulate every single dollar that comes into my life immediately right when I get it on small things. Like I can chill and save up a couple months, and then I can go to Bali or Hawaii or New Zealand or just somewhere dope and like ball out and have a more fun time. Just because I delayed gratification and I, didn't indulge in all these little simple, quick, easy pleasures and shiny objects, and I went for what I really wanted. And this can go for just anything in life. Like with my music career, for example, on like a bigger scale, I could choose to just like do the types of things that would make me more successful faster. But I've kind of chose to do it the longer, more true to my soul type of way, because I know it'll be more rewarding. Like the come up, the grind, or the years of growing and evolution that had to take place in order for me to get there is like what I'm really after and what fulfills me the most. You know what I mean? The journey is the fun part. So I'm not interested in taking any shortcuts. I'm interested in doing it the right way. And when you do things the right way, rather than just like following the trends or doing whatever you think is going to get you there the fastest, easiest, like you end up happier, more fulfilled. So you have to but in order to do that, you have to kind of delay gratification and be like, okay, I'm going to probably get to my dream, a little bit later than I could, but it's going to feel that much better when I get there because I did it right. And yeah, just delay gratification on anything possible. Like all the fun things are more fun when you've already done the hard things and gotten them out of the way. And there's actually this interesting study, I think it was like a Harvard study, where they actually took 5-year-olds and put them in a room and they offered them some cookies, and they were like, all right, you can have one cookie right now, and they put it in front of the kid. Okay. Or if you don't eat that cookie right now, if you delay gratification, if you wait on that and you wait for me to come back, then you can have 2 cookies. So the little kids who sit there like, okay, I could have 1 right now, but if I just wait a little bit, I can have 2. And they didn't specify any definite amount of time. And like time is hard to understand for 5-year-olds anyway, so they're like, just what they didn't tell the kids is that these people were like not coming back. And they just studied how long each kid would go without finally giving into the temptation of eating that cookie that's been sitting in front of them. And then they studied these people and they followed up with them like 20, 30 years later. And this is a real Harvard study. I'll have to look it up and put it in the show notes. They followed up with them like 20 or 30 years later, and they showed the ones that delayed gratification the longest were the most successful. So the kids that waited the longest, because they're like, you know what, I'd rather have 2 cookies later than 1 right now, those kids ended up being more successful in life. They had like way more money, better health, better relationships, there was less divorce, less disease, less drug use, all this stuff. Like, interesting study. And there's been some other studies on it that are similar too, that just shows that a correlation between our ability to delay gratification and our ability to achieve lasting fulfillment and success in life. And when you think about it, it really makes like perfect common sense. Like, okay, if I can wait for stuff that I really want versus just always, indulging in temptations short term, I'll have more fulfillment and I'll end up getting the things that I really want. So it's just an important reminder to work on delaying gratification as much as you can. Anything that you have to do that you're not looking forward to do it at first. Like there's an old saying called "eat that frog," and it's a silly term that it used to be like if you had to wake up and eat a frog, it would be the worst thing you had to do all day or something like that. I don't really know. It's like a really old school saying. But the whole point is like eat that frog, you do the hardest thing first. So when you wake up in the morning, if you have 5 things you have to do that day, do the thing that you're looking forward to the very least first, because it'll give you momentum. You'll feel good because now you already got the hardest one out of the way. All the other tasks are easier because now you're already feeling strong from getting the hard one done, and now you don't have anything, you got less hard, like everything else that you have to do is less hard than something you already did, so you kind of feel confident about it. And you can ride that momentum and just get a lot more done. Versus if you go the other route and you do the easiest thing first, then you can build up momentum that way sometimes too, and for some people that's helpful. But for me, it's like then I end up avoiding the hardest thing. If I put the hardest thing off for last, I end up never doing it. Or I spend the entire day doing all these easier things and I'm dragging them on, making them harder than they need to be, because in the back of my mind, I'm like dreading this hard thing that I have to do later that I like really don't want to do. So do the hard thing first. Delay gratification. It'll make everything in your life better. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick is consistency. I see so many people doing good things in their life and then they don't get results because they're not consistent enough. You can write affirmations, you can do the gratitude journal, you can do the scripting, you can do the hypnosis, the subconscious programming, the cold showers, the plant-based diet, the eating healthy. You could do all the things that we've talked about on the podcast and like all the ways that I've personally chosen to, empower myself and raise my vibration. But if you're off and on with them, it's not going to really work for you. It's not going to make as big of a difference, and it's going to take way, 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 way longer to get from where you are to where you want to be if you're falling off. And it's like, don't beat yourself up if you are losing, if you do keep falling off and getting back on. Like, reward yourself for getting back on at least. That's a way better energy than beating yourself up for falling off. So reward yourself for just getting back on every time you do fall off, but reward yourself for being consistent. Like, it's not, you don't go to the gym and lift like 8,000 pounds in one day and that's how you get strong. It's like, no, you lift the 20-pound weights every day for 5 years, and that's how you get strong. You stay consistent and everything pays off. If you want to get good at anything in life, it takes consistent effort applied over and over and over and over again until you, and I'm not saying things have to be long and hard to become good at, but there's an interesting study, or it's not really like a study, it was, I don't know what to call it, but astronauts, when they were training to go into outer space, wore these goggles that flipped everything upside down. So when you had the goggles flipped upside, or when you wore the goggles, everything looked upside down. And the whole world was completely upside down, and you couldn't take these goggles off. You had to walk in them, eat in them, sleep in them, everything all day 24/7. And if you kept them on 24/7, what would happen is 30 days in, it was like 30 to 60 days in, everyone's brain, all the astronauts' brains would flip the image right side up again. So they're still wearing the goggles, but now their brain has flipped the image that's coming in through their eyes into their brain, and it's flipped it right side up because it's like, okay, let's get used to this now and let's perceive this in a way that's more familiar to us. So it takes about 60 days or so for your brain to flip it around. But if you even take off the goggles for like 2 hours, that 60-day period restarts. So that just goes to show how important consistency is. I hope that makes sense. I think there's a couple YouTube videos on it that maybe I'll put in the show notes. But man, I can tell you like so many things that I tried to be good at And I just kept failing and wondering why I wasn't getting results. It's because I wasn't consistent enough. I would do 3 days like killing it, and then I'd fall off for 4 days, and then I'd do 3 days, then I'd fall off. Then I'd be good for a couple days, and then I'd fall off. And then I'd crush it for a few months, and I'd be like just totally on path, and then I'd fall off. And it's okay. Like I said, I'm gonna reward myself and congratulate myself for getting back on every time I fell off. But consistency is where the magic is. That's why I wasn't getting where I wanted to be, because I was losing track, doing good for a while, then falling off, and doing good for a while. So you just gotta build up the muscle of consistency, and it sounds silly, but you can build that. Like I talk about with a lot of things on this podcast, these are muscles you can build with other small things. So you can use smaller, less meaningful areas of your life to help you become, help you improve in more meaningful areas of your life. So, for example, I developed the habit of being consistent with water. I was like, that's a simple one. I'm going to build the habit, okay, for every day, for 30 days, I'm going to make sure I drink a gallon of water a day, and I'm not going to miss a single day. And every time I got, there was a couple times I might have gotten 9 or 10 days in and missed a day, and I had to restart the 30 days. But it was less about the water, even though now I drink more than a gallon a day, no problem, without even trying. It's not even something I think about, it's just something that happens. But when I was building that habit, I wasn't even worried about the water as much as I was worried about building consistency. I was like, if I can get good at just being consistent with water, then I can get good at being consistent with other things, and I can be consistent with the eating and the other stuff in my life. And it's one thing I noticed big time on my YouTube channel and with my beats and with everything else I've done is when I'm kind of sporadic, I post a video here and a video here, and then I go 3 days where I post every day, and then I'm 2 months where I don't post anything, and then post one here, and then 7 days later I randomly post another one, and then I go every day for 4 days, and then I'm off for 6 months again. It's all over the place. My YouTube channel doesn't really grow that much. But when I start going every day or every week, then I see way bigger, better results. That's why I'm trying to be as consistent as possible with the podcast. I haven't fully been, but I've been almost 100% consistent with the Tuesday episodes, or at least not with the Tuesday episodes, but just I've been consistently giving you guys at least one episode a week, which is what I said I was going to do. I said I was shooting for 2, and if I could do 2 and I was inspired to do 2 episodes per week, then I would be stoked. That would be awesome. That's ideal. But I'm committed to doing at least 1. So as far as I don't think I've missed a full week. And I'm working on trying to get even more consistent with it. But I think that's a big reason why the podcast is continuing to grow. You guys know you can count on me every week to have something to say that's going to come from my heart and something that I think is valuable to share with you. So if I was just all over the place, then you guys might not be subscribing and tuning in as much. And I don't think it needs to be on the exact same day every week or, exactly every 7 days, but you have to just know that you can pretty regularly get it, open up your podcast app and see something from Burnell that you haven't listened to before, you know what I mean? And I like consistency with all the people I follow. Same thing with my shows and growing my fan base. When I'm consistently in alignment with my higher self, providing value to my audience online, my audience is just growing and resonating, and my merch is selling, everything's doing great. But when I fall off for a little bit, I start to see a big dip. So delaying gratification and consistency are 2 super habits that all of us should work on improving. So let's work on our consistency. Let's try to build good, positive habits. And let's work on delaying gratification. Give up the good to go for the great. give up the mediocre to go for the extraordinary, give up things that are, fun, easy, pleasurable right now for things that are going to be like ultra fun, ultra pleasurable, ultra fulfilling later down the road. So that's all I really wanted to share with you guys today. I really appreciate you listening. Real quick before we leave, let's put our hands on our heart again if you're not driving. And with your hands, or a hand on your heart, or just at least some awareness of your heart, I want you again to just picture all the people listening to this podcast. People all ages, girls, boys, men, women, black, white, Asian, like all sorts of different people, Australian homies, German homies, that are all really the same. We're all one person, and all of us we want to live a happy life. We want to do good in the world. We want to spread light and love. We want to be the best versions of ourselves, and we want everyone on this planet to prosper, and we just want to enjoy this planet as much as we possibly can. That's what we're all about. So let's just be aware of that and understand that we're all connected. We're all going through ups and downs, hardships and challenges, but we're all in this together, yo. And all of us are so much more powerful than we could ever realize. We literally have everything we could ever need already inside of us. And we're just going to be massively successful, yo. We're going to live amazing lives. And we already are truly living extraordinarily blessed lives. But it's just going to keep getting better and better and better from here. The better it gets, the better it gets. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a review if you haven't. I would appreciate that so much. And shoot me a DM so I can personally thank you for listening. If you want to tune into more of these high vibes, hit me up on Instagram at BurnellWashburn, or just search Burnell Washburn on YouTube. You'll find my channel. I got tons of good videos there, so I'll be back with another episode of the podcast real soon. I got some new music dropping soon too, so stay in touch. Keep spreading the good vibes. Keep being your authentic self. And live it to the fullest, yo. Bless.